When you look at our generation, we were stuck in the loop of roti, kapla, makan. We didn't have the capacity to think beyond ourselves.
Yeah.
Volunteering actually gives you that space to say, I need a difference. And that I is everything.
How volunteering had transformed me. It made community, it made service an essential part of who I am. And when I didn't have that, life just felt wrong.
This is what makes a good society.
Yes.
I think volunteering is the bedrock of it.
Absolutely.
Two founders walking to with Satish, Manchikanti and Ajit, Sivaram. Execution is not a hustle. When you grow people, you grow everything. Two founders walking to.
The last decade has seen an absolute revolution in volunteering. It has been incredible to see young India, Gen Z, and now hopefully Gen Alpha also really rise up and take volunteering as part of its ethos, part of what people love doing, right? And we've gone from one-time volunteering to people building communities of volunteering, and it's an exciting season to be in. Today, we have with us the one, the only man of the hour, Suchet and Rameez. They are both legends in the U&I universe, and they do a whole bunch of things. They lead L&D for our volunteers, they lead recruitment, community building, and both of you all have been pillars of the community that we've been and massive ambassadors. Great to have you all here.
Thank you.
To talk about what volunteering is in India today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
I think you both have obviously thought very deeply about the whole volunteering, but just to set the context for today, as you said, volunteering is something really worth thinking about, what's happening in India and why we should think about it. Number one, there's this whole shift in India when you look at the middle class. When you look at our generation, we were stuck in the loop of roti, kapla, makan, right? We didn't have the capacity to think beyond ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? It was about somehow get through your education, get the job and work your butt off to survive.
Married.
Have children, all that. But survival was the name of the game.
Yeah.
But I think we've moved from there where now your generation, you feel empowered and you feel like you have an agency to saying, hey, can I be the change I want to see in the world? And that's such a powerful place to be. As millions of young people in India are asking that question, can I be the change? How do we create a platform? Right? And can we really make it an India's edge? Because you look at India, it's the youngest country in the world. They say that about 65% of Indians are going to fall under this working age population, right? So demographic dividend is our edge. And if you're able to take that edge and really harness the power for greater good, not only that, but when it's also a two-way street, it's not, hey, we can add value to the problems around us, but how much our young people can take away from it, right? They will learn agency to solve problems, and wherever they go after volunteering, as they volunteer, non-profit, they feel like they have agency to solve problems, they have skills to solve problems, and that is really the gift of volunteering can give them. So as we dive deep into volunteering today, we really want to pick your brains.
Yeah, and I think where better to start than your own journeys, right? I think you both have inspirational journeys, and that brings a tear to my eye. So we'd love for you all to start and sort of share a bit of your journey, and also because your journeys are representative of India and where we're going.
Yeah. So I am actually what you would call a Guelph Malayali.
Whoa!
Yeah. I was
Guelph.
brought up for 18 years in the Middle East. And a good part of our summer vacation was going back to India and spending time with family. And my mother, she comes from a very backwards part of Kochi where we didn't see a lot of development. And I could see that who were literally my cousins, right? Once removed from me. Same ambition, same passion for wanting to really grow, just as funny as I am. But
Debatable. How can anyone?
So true, that is so true. And yet not getting the right access to opportunity, even though I was able to enjoy so much of it. And a good chunk of my summer vacation would be coming back from where I was, staying in India, and then thinking, what is it that makes me so special that I get this? Or more rather, why is it that they can't have access to these opportunities? And over time, it became a space of, okay, maybe if I can give, if I can support something that I possess, can I give that to people? That was initially what I was thinking. And I would usually look to charity as a way of trying to support not just my own family, but those around me. Eventually, I realized that wasn't enough. And it became a space where I was really passionate to do something. And finally, when I came back to India, I came to do my undergrad. And I was looking for spaces to do more, to give in the sense of charity. And eventually I come across a bunch of kids that U&I was serving. And I'm walking to that classroom and I see people that are my cousins, same passion, just as funny as me, but still not having as much access to opportunities. And eventually I realized my passion is not doing charity or giving. It's being able to build systems that give people the space to overcome the barriers that they are born into. And now I know that's what I want to build. I want to build environments where others don't have to struggle as much as my family did. And that's why I'm here in U and I've been spending this past 5 years doing it professionally.
Love it, love it. Including the volunteering journey, how long has it been?
That would be 8 years.
Wow.
It's a lifetime in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. Such.
So, I'm not a Guelph Malayali.
Look like one though right now.
But my parents were part of the Roti Kapda Makan generation, which meant I grew up in the lap of luxury as much as they could give me. Lots of roti, lots of kapda,
lots of
sufficient makan.
Great kapda.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for me, service growing up was an option. It was a hobby. It was something I was encouraged to do because it was good manners. But it was never a way of being. And when I joined college, I was introduced to U&I by one of my classmates. And at the time, U&I caught my eye because it was teaching. My mom's a teacher, my dad's a teacher, and I wanted to walk their footsteps, be a part of the legacy that they're a part of. And so my journey started with teaching. My journey started with just taking that bus, 1.5 hour bus to the center, on the entire way thinking to myself, do I really need to do this? Getting there and then teaching 2 students in class. At the end of the year, I had this experience where one of the students that I was teaching came in front of a crowd of about 70 of us in our graduation party and read out a little letter saying, thank you, U&I, thank you, Anna, for helping me do this. And the whole year, she had never done anything like this.
Wow.
The whole year, even in front of 5 people, she wouldn't speak up. And that moment was really changed me because where being in service of somebody else was always something that I could do if I wanted because that's what my privilege gave me. It started to transform into a way of being. The journey that I've taken through volunteering is that being in service of other people is now a part of my identity. And when I don't take an opportunity to be in service of somebody, I feel like I'm going against who I am. Right? So that is what volunteering has been able to do for me. And that for me today is a 10-year journey that I've taken from my time in college to today with U&I.
Love that. Yeah. What an amazing, both of you, what an amazing journey. When I think of volunteering, it feels like it's almost like a gym membership where we all have intention to go work out.
Yeah.
But intention is not enough. If you want to see the transformation, you have to go and work out every day. But like most of us just take the membership and then we stop there.
Yeah.
But looks like with volunteering, you have actually been able to go work out 8 years now, both of you. If you can throw a light on what made your experiences transformative, what made you keep going back, and what about volunteering that kind of stayed with you? It's become a way of life, way of being.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I think about, again, U&I, when I first joined and I entered a classroom for the first time, I had very low expectations as to the kind of teacher I could be. I struggled in drawing straight lines in arts and crafts class. I couldn't do anything creative for the life of me. And then I was told by my leader at the time, who coincidentally is actually Suchet. He was my leader. Yeah. He told me, try to bring in some creative elements into class. And that would be the biggest stress that I would have every weekend. And then around 3 to 4 classes later, my child comes up to me and says, hey, I want to talk to you about something. And I was like, okay, this is the big moment where I get feedback, where I'm told my classes are boring, because I also didn't know Tamil at the time, which was the local language. So overall, I'm just not what I believe I'm not the right fit. And she comes up to me and she gives me a card. And the front page of that card basically reads, thank you so much for coming every week and coming on time. I really enjoy spending time with you.
Wow.
And that was a moment that made me believe that just showing up makes such a big difference. And eventually, fast forward 3-4 months, I want to step up to become a leader at U&I because I love the change that I'm able to make and I'm able to do more. And when the next academic year starts, I'm looking for my child and she isn't there in the center. And I'm asking around, I'm asking the center partner at the time, where is my child, the one that I was teaching last year? And basically, the center partner replies that she's not going to be a part of our center anymore, that she's been called back by her family. And usually that doesn't mean good news. But the big realization that I had from that experience is that volunteering isn't a short-term stint that I can do and hope to continue to do my master's elsewhere. It spoke to me that I want to continue to do this as a long-term game, that I want to be able to affect change much longer than what I'm doing today. And that's why it was such a transformative experience for me. That I love that U&I does these 9-month programs where we're able to spend time with our kids, and I want to continue to do that over and over again.
Very true.
For me, I didn't know the transformative effect volunteering had in my life till I didn't have it. I went to the Netherlands for about 9 months to do a master's there. And I was meant to stay there 2 years at the very least because that's how long my program was. But I came back 9 months in because the entire time I was in a state of confusion. I was in a state of anxiety. I didn't know something was wrong, but I couldn't tell what it was. And when I came back, the first thing I did, because it was also a promise I'd made to myself when I left, was I came back to volunteering. I signed up to volunteer at U&I again. And when I went to my first class, I realized what it was that was missing for me in the Netherlands, and it was people around me. It was my community around me. And the 9 months when I was there, I did not have a peer group that would support me, that would hear me, that I could walk my walk with. First class back in U&I, that immediately clicked because I'd spent 3 years at U&I already prior to that, right? And I could immediately tell how volunteering had transformed me. It had made community, it made service an essential part of who I am. And when I didn't have that, life just felt wrong. And so for me, that's how I would define how volunteering has transformed me. Today, I need to build communities wherever I go. I need to be a part of them wherever I go. And without that, life is just not the same.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's almost this vacuum-shaped void we feel inside when we remove from our communities.
Yeah.
I love that. That means for you, you have the joy of overseeing volunteer recruitment, right? Which is every year trying to go out and get 4,000 young people across 40 cities in India to say, yes, I want to come teach for 9 months, 2.5 hours a week. That joy is yours and the team's, right? From, I think, being a volunteer, from leading volunteers to now recruiting volunteers in some sense. What are some of the key things why volunteers say yes to actually committing to teaching children? It could not just necessarily for teaching children, for volunteering in general.
Yeah, I think Maslow's pyramid just
Nice.
I love the simplicity of it because way at the bottom, it basically talks about how accessible can you make volunteering. My first experience coming to Chennai was calling up a nonprofit and saying, I want to volunteer. Where do I sign up? What can I do? And they said, you have to come to the heart of the city, travel 20, 30 kilometers day on day, and then you would be able to be a part of our change. And that immediately meant that I couldn't volunteer for that nonprofit. I think one of the big moments of clarity you need to have is who do you cater to? Who is your audience? Because what that means is that example that I just shared is you have to be in the center of the city or very close for you to be able to commute. And why U&I became my first ever nonprofit to volunteer in was because they had a center in multiple locations across Chennai and I got to be part of one of them.
So volunteering was accessible.
Exactly. That was that was the basic thing that you should be able to do it. Then at the second level, it's a lot of times as we do these recruitment drives or we call in a large group of people to come into our doors, one of the first things they say is, I want to create change, but I've actually never taught before. And we tell them, don't worry, we'll give you the resources, we'll give you a lesson plan, which is the curriculum. You just need to show up and smile. And you can see just how comfortable they get because for them is, I just need to come to the center on time, which is where we do our classes. And that's the kind of security that you want to be able to create. And you need to be intentional about that. Then comes the third step, which is how are you able to do this? Like Satish said, like you're going to a gym with your friends. And one of the examples that I can think about is Cult Fit. There are so many people that I see who come for these Zumba classes who clearly don't look like they've danced before. But the minute they see every single person in that room, every single person in that room dancing their hearts out, you can see that they also want to be a part of that magic. And we do that with our recruitment days. We do that with our interview days. And the last part.
So let me, so you're saying accessible.
Yeah.
The second is you're equipping the volunteer.
A sense of security.
A sense of security. So I know that here I can actually do this. Psychological safety. I'm equipped to do my work. The third one you're saying is community.
Yes.
Can we build something together?
Belonging.
A sense of belonging for it. Okay, love it. Yeah, keep going.
And the last part that I would pick is, does your cause speak to people enough that they would want to take it up as a representation of who they are? Do they say, this is me when they show up to be a part of your community? And one of the examples that I love to use the most is Royal Enfield does that all the time. Like they make it a point that if you're a soldier, you could be a police officer, you could be a lone wolf, that you are riding a Royal Enfield as you're going through the lone roads together alone. And you can see a lot of people adopt that because that speaks to who they are. And when you look back again at us, people ask us year on year, even though we try to bring a wide variety of merch, they keep asking, when do we get the iconic red t-shirt to work? And that's about them saying, I want to wear that t-shirt because it speaks to who I am. You could have Zudio, you could have Sheen, but they want a red t-shirt. And the thing to bring this all together is having a journey where you're able to touch on all 4 of the things that I mentioned at different stages. So when you're filling out the application form, do they hear a story about what it is that U&I is able to do? Do they speak to a champion who speaks to our cause? When they come in for an interview and they interact with our volunteers, again, do they feel like they're doing it with a group of like-minded people who want to create change? And so on and so forth. And then finally, they join and be a part of the community. And by that point, they've already heard so much about us that they're ready to just start teaching. And that to me has been our magic sauce, and what I've seen other leaders in the space do that as well.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. I love the fact that you talked in 4 levels, and especially the last, the cause, people needing to connect with the cause, whatever that cause is, wherever that is. Creating community is one side, but really showing them that, hey, here's a cause, here's how you can come and contribute. As we say here, community without a cause is just a crowd. Right? You're bringing people together, but they need a reason to come together and to do something together. Right? And the fact that we are able to strategically think through that journey and what kind of experience we are creating right from the word go, right from the time saying, okay, I want to explore the options. I can go on the website and find the one that works for me is the real challenge. Right? So in your experience, as you think through, hey, how do we create these experiences where people they tune into engaging at a community level? How do we do that? Can you walk us through that?
There are 2 things that you said that I love, because you just gave me my answer back to me. The first you said was a community without a cause is just a crowd. And the second that you said is that people really need to be able to feel the essence, like what they're contributing to. And what I found that gets people to stay back is a combination of 3 things. The first is their contributions, right? They have a space where they can tangibly contribute and they can interact with their contributions, they can interact with their impact. Right? For us, that's our classroom. It's a very clean way of engaging with your impact. And the second one is connection, which is not only am I doing this alone, but there are obviously other people I'm doing this with. Can I connect with them? Is the environment I'm in the kind of environment that facilitates me connecting with them? I think great examples of that are like run clubs, for example, when people are coming back over and over just so that they can meet the other people. The environment itself is designed to get people to connect with each other. Right? And finally is co-creation or ownership. Can people who show up to contribute, show up to connect, can they take responsibility for the space that they're showing up to? Right? Can they take ownership over that space that they're showing up to? And how do their ideas, or if they do have an idea, can that idea be executed in that space? And a great example of this is Lego, right? Where the crowd, the community itself is out there giving ideas for what the next thing could be. And then that turns into products. Right? So the community is now the creator of the product. I think if you're able to create a journey where people can contribute, can connect with each other, and then eventually take more ownership of the environment that they're contributing to, at least I find that people really just want to keep staying in that environment. They just want to keep coming back to that environment over and over again.
Nice.
If anything, that's my journey.
Love that. Connection, contribution, connection, and
Co-creation.
co-creation. I love that. I think as strategically as you put these thoughtfully and strategically as you put this together, I think one quote that comes to my mind is what Disney said: "Do what you do so well that they would want to come back, bring their friends too." And I think that's real testament of what you do, because I think 70% of all the applications we get are through referrals. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. So I have 2 questions. So first one is this: I am a non-profit.
Okay.
I have staff, I have a program, and I hear this, you're talking about volunteers, right? Now having 4,000 volunteers who volunteer through the year, engaging one-off volunteers, 65,000. Those numbers are mind-boggling, right? Where do I start? Like I have 0 volunteers today. As a non-profit, where do I start?
Okay, awesome. So following Rameez's train of thought, of course, when you want to engage with volunteers, the first thing to do is to bring them in. So there, what you want to do is you want to identify the people that you want to reach out to. You need to have clarity there on who do I want actually volunteering with.
Who's your ideal volunteer? What skill set should they have?
Exactly.
All of that. Yeah.
What kind of time do they need to be able to commit? Where do they need to be able to come from? So that's one side of things. The other side of things is you want to be able to explain to them clearly what they're going to do and explain to them in such a simple manner that they're not overwhelmed in the process of learning that.
Nice.
So you want to make it, like Rameez said, you want to make it safe for them to come and volunteer with us. After that, you want to be able to create an environment where not just them, but the other people that they are volunteering with, they're able to see how they're able to interact with everybody else in the room. They're able to understand what role everybody here is meant to play and how they all come together.
Yes.
Now that you have your volunteer in, but we want to figure out how to get them to stay. And so there I said 3 things. I said contribution, connection, and co-creation. Let's just talk through those.
Yeah.
First thing you want to be able to do as a non-profit is to be able to show your volunteers how their contributions are real.
Nice.
How the work that they've put in, their volunteering is real, what that translates to. That could be storytelling, that could be reflections after their volunteering, some sort of space where they're able to engage with the impact that they're creating. The second is, like I said, connection. Not just visibility on what role I play with the rest of my volunteers, but who are these people? Can they become my friends? Can they be the reason that I come back to volunteer? Like Satish said, gym membership. A lot of the time we're going to the gym because we're going with our friends. Right? We have that accountability partner, so to speak. So can you do things to create connections between your volunteers? Can you create spaces where that connection comes together? And finally, you want to, and I know this is particularly useful as a non-profit, you want to be able to have your volunteers take ownership of some of the work that they're doing. To take responsibility for the impact that you're trying to create there. It makes your life easy and makes their life extremely meaningful when they do come to volunteer.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we've been really blessed to have built a lot of these pieces within U&I today.
Yeah.
I think within U&I, volunteers don't just volunteer together, they eventually build connection, build friendships, become almost lifelong friends. And even when they stop volunteering, they still vacation together, hang out together.
Absolutely.
Sometimes even date each other. All of the above happens.
Not recommend.
We've been married. We've been invited to some of their marriages.
Yes, to weddings. So there's a reason why I call U&I, right?
I think a great example is Rameez and I. We started volunteering together. Here we're working together.
And your romance has blossomed. Okay.
Cut.
Yeah. And I think that's really the power of that entire journey.
Yeah.
You build an authentic community which is healthy and goes beyond so much of the work that you do together.
Yes.
Love it. So now let's talk through the other side. My second question was, I'm a volunteer. I've never volunteered before this. 2.5 hours a week and finding friends I want to hang out with. I've never seen any of this. Where do I start? Can I click somewhere and these people will show up?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this with artificial intelligence also, like, you can go to ChatGPT and it's going to give you a huge list of resources. But I think the most important thing to come to terms with is, what are you passionate about?
Nice.
Right? Do you care about education as a cause? Do you care about animals? Do you care about environment? There's a lot that I could keep listing and listing, right? And one of the things that I can think of is, if you're someone who also, now that you know what cause you're passionate about, maybe it could also be that you don't have a lot of time to give, or you have a lot of time to give. The intersection of both of that is what I think is a good entry point for you to actually try volunteer. If you care about wanting to give emergency relief, something as simple as distributing food to a large number of people speaks to you. Robin Hood armies out there, right? You've got Akshay Patra as well, who are supporting these causes day in and day out. I know that there is a term for this. We call them streeties, right?
Yeah.
Just animals waiting to be loved. Cupa, care, those are your go-tos, right? And if you do care about education, and that is something that speaks to you, you've got a lot of others as well, right? You've got Cry, you've got Labia, but if you're especially passionate about one-on-one teaching, right? Mentoring of students, you've got us.
Yeah.
Right? You can go
Good.
to
Bhumi,
You've got us, right? You've got Matt, right? You've got a lot of different folks. So those are some of the things that I can think about as to how you can find a cause that you're passionate about.
So an example of this, if your cause of choice, your passion of choice is education, and you deeply desire to teach, like me, and the time available to you is 2.5 hours a week. U&I is the place to go. That's the intersection. Place to go is undi.org.in/volunteer.
Click on the link below.
Click on the link below. You'll see it at the subtitle. Click on the link below. You'll be able to volunteer. Yeah, like that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, love it. Beautiful.
Why does volunteering matter now?
Yeah.
I think especially in the kind of space we're in today, right? If I am in school or if I'm just getting into college, I think it's very easy to feel small in spite of the large access that we have, one in like millions and millions of people. Or I see things happening around me that I have no control over. I think one of the big shifts volunteering can do for you is making you feel like you can make a difference. And that's something that you may not get in a lot of spaces around you, like college, your job, whatever it may be. Volunteering actually gives you that space to say, I made a difference. And that I is everything. So That's actually one of the big reasons why I would recommend someone out there actually try volunteering, because once you realize that you have that space, that you have that ability to do it, it opens up a lot of doors and perspectives to the world around.
that nice.
Yeah. I would say in the same way that like this really big world and your really small place in it makes changing it feel difficult, and volunteering makes that feeling more accessible, makes that feeling more real. Even though we have social media playing such an integral part of our lives today, and there is this conception that people are more connected, I actually find that people are not as connected today as we used to be. There are more people out there. It's a bigger world, more opportunities, more possibilities, and yet there is less and less connection. And I think one of the reasons why volunteering is so important today is because it creates a platform for that connection. It creates spaces for people to come together and for people to find identity with other people. And I think that is an absolute non-negotiable today. Something that's...
And I feel like for where we're heading to as India, where more people step out of the need or survival mindset or roti kapda makan mindset, I think it is essential that this generation looks back and says, you know, we have to give back to those who are less than us. And
Absolutely.
And that giving back of your time, not in a savior mindset, but in a, hey, this is what makes a good society.
Yes.
I think volunteering is the bedrock of it.
Absolutely.
To find a cause you're passionate about, to find people you love working with, and to go do something about it.
Absolutely.
I think humanity is built on that. And without that, I feel like we lose a lot of who we are.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Thank you for what both of you are building. We love working with you.